I think it's live, right?
Live, is it? Uh, yeah, it's live. Okay, let's get started. Huh, I checked on YouTube. Yeah. So I'll be presenting Hercules and then Zipnox will be presenting ToDoXPY. So let me just share my screen first. Mm, sure.
Yep.
Cool. So what's Hercules? So Hercules is basically an API that I built for enabling students to get the academic data for IT-KGP, as in related to courses, departments, faculty information, and everything that's in the public domain for now. So the motivation for me was that I found that there were a lot of ad hoc data scraping Python code in across many projects of MetaKGP and other personal projects, and a lot of them were storing data into JSONs and then using the JSONs in the code and doing stuff which was not kind of clean. And the primary issue was that I found that multiple projects used to share the same data, the same JSON files, and the data was not, there was no integrity, and the data was not updated quite frequently. So the issue came down to that every developer who wanted to write a new app had to consider the difficulty of for getting the data from ERP, be it through scraping or any other stuff. So I felt that every project had that issue, and I thought that we can build an abstraction over this so that anybody who wants to write a new project should not be worried about getting the data. They should be only interested in using the data to create something good and a useful product for the student community. So that was the motivation. Uh, so what did I implement? So this basically is the architecture that I have used. So basically, it's quite simple. Uh, so I'll walk you through this. So what I thought initially. So a client will make a request to the REST API for now, and the REST API will be basically an API gateway for different microservices. And the currently we have got 4 services, namely course, department, faculty, and there's a migration service. So currently the REST API is read only. So all the services can only perform read operations on the database. I have not added any capability for write operations because that would require some authentication stuff. So we'll come to that later. And the way that I store the data is using scraping scripts written in Python. So we have got different scrapers which scrape data for faculty and for timetable and stuff. And those scrapers store the data into JSON formats and JSON files present in the repository. And then the migration service, you fetches the data from JSON files and puts them in the DB. So only the migration service currently has the capability to perform, to alter the database, which is our Postgres database. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. And the scrapers are in Python. These 4 services are written in Go. I've tried to use a service-oriented architecture because that's the simplest way to write services in Go, in my opinion. And I wanted to learn how to, so basically not to build a monolith, but to keep it distributed enough so that it can scale in the future. And so I've not exactly used the microservices architecture, but uh, I have created the application along the same ideals. So what I mean by that is basically every service is responsible for a single table in the database. So for example, the course service is responsible for a course table which is present in the database, and all the other services interact with this service over HTTP to perform operations on the course table. So if we have to add a new faculty, so a faculty won't be able to perform write operations on course directly. It will have to send a HTTP request, and the course service itself will get triggered and perform the operation. So that's how we maintain that each service is responsible for a particular logical entity and they don't overlap. Uh, so when I started this writing this, I wanted to learn RPC, specifically gRPC, but then I found that Heroku does not support calls between the services over RPC. We can only call them via HTTP. So yeah, even Google Cloud Platform does not provide the capability to perform RPC in the services deployed on the platform.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, so
Oh,
the only way we can communicate between services is via HTTP. So I didn't go into protobuf for now. We are only using HTTP via the send to service function, which is essentially a client which interacts with the service. So there's also a common package that I've written. So it contains all the boilerplate code, as in the data models that we're using, the errors, the database queries, and the server interface, which every microservice implements. And yeah, and after that, I started writing some handler tests for these services, and that's pretty much it. So let me give you a quick demo of what current what are the current capabilities of Hercules. So yeah,
yeah. It's pretty cool.
so this is Hercules. This is the logo designed by Nupur. Big shout out to her. And yeah, so let's go to the landing page. Yeah, so this is the landing page of Hercules. It's basically I have to work on API documentation so that it's better using Swagger so that it's cleaner than this. But this works for now. So basically, we have got 3 endpoints in course, 1 in department, and 3 in faculty. So let's try some department. So what this does is basically gives you a list of all the departments in ITKGP, as in you get the name of the department and the code, which is used to uniquely identify a department. And yeah, it's as simple as this. We get the JSON, and we can do interesting stuff, as in, for example, if you want to get the timetable of a faculty, which is basically what WIMP does. So we can get it via this. So the what we send is basically the name of the professor and the department of the professor, because I found that there are a couple of professors who belong with the same name who belong to 2 different departments. So a name of the faculty is not a unique identifier. We also have to pass in the department code. So this gives us everything related to the prof, as in the courses that he's taking and what is his schedule. Next, yeah, we can get information about the course, as in if we want to get list of courses provided by particular faculty member, the same thing. So we see that prof provides these many courses, and we can get from the course code, we can get further more information. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, what next? So for now, we have got Verb built by Ayush, which is using the API, and I would like to work on this in December to get WIMP Chronos ported to Hercules. And before that, I think there are a couple of issues that I need to work on. The first being moving the project to MetaKGP organization so that we can have clarity and it integrates well with other sister projects, rather than being under my domain and becoming difficult for others to get push access and stuff. So next up would be generating API documentation. So a senior engineer at Bubble Student, where I interned in the summers, built a cool project. Uh, Let me show you. So basically, it generates API documentation for Go, written in Go. So you get the documentation automatically generated from this. It's basically written over Swagger UI. And yeah, I would like to give this a try because he told me that he's really excited about this. And yeah, so I'll work on this. And after that, we need to add more DV tests. So for now, the tests that we have are basically using mock data, and they are basically handler tests whether the handler is working correctly or not. It does not reflect the actual data from the database. So we'll work on that. Another issue would be updating the Docker Compose so that it's easier for people to develop the code locally. And okay. And what else do we have? Yeah, so I posted this on MetaKGP a month back, and Vikrant suggested using GraphQL for this, which was really good suggestion. So I'd like to use GraphQL so that the discovery of code, the discovery of data becomes easier for a developer who is using the API rather than me restricting what the developer can access. So this would be a good addition. But after exploring, I found that in order to write a new GraphQL API, I need to consider creating an API gateway so that the REST service and the GraphQL service both can use simultaneously and both don't hinder each other. So I'll have to read more about this, and then I'll implement a GraphQL API. And yeah, eventually I would like to break so currently all the services are basically sub routers to the main router, and we are passing them through a single router. So in the future, I would like to segregate each service to have a specific router and a specific server, so that it's truly microservices rather than having a microservice-ish architecture. So yeah, that's probably it. And oh, guys, any questions?
Yeah. So yeah, this is great actually. I've been generally impressed with the whole sort of structure of this project and how you've gone about it. Yeah, I think I really like the focus on good, like well-structured code rather than just trying to get something out there.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that it has like hindered you a lot, so that's great. Just on the technical side of things, I think that yeah, I think Heroku might not support gRPC, but I know that GCP does for sure because we use it and we're using it in Kubernetes with gRPC to communicate between the services. And yeah, so we're definitely using it. And I guess you just have to like either pay for it
Yeah,
or
I think
yeah.
are you using virtual machines, the compute engine, Google Compute?
No, we're using Docker containers and Kubernetes.
Okay,
The
because
Kubernetes engine, I think, not the
yeah,
compute engine.
okay, right,
GKE. Yeah,
yeah, that could be
yeah.
because
So,
I
mm,
used Google App Engine during my internship, and that's when I found that it does not
hmm
provide gRPC communication.
I think Google App Engine is just like DigitalOcean. They just give you VMs or servers or whatever.
Right.
Kubernetes is more of a deployment orchestration type of thing where you can like
Mhm.
run a lot of containers and set up networks and stuff. It's pretty complicated. I don't understand any of it, but yeah, it's fairly complicated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that. And so gRPC is great, but the only like sort of drawback I see with HTTP is that every request is a completely new HTTP request. So that involves like 100 milliseconds of TCP, 100 milliseconds of whatever HTTPS if you're using that.
Hmm.
And yeah, so that might slow you down if you don't have a cache of some sort,
Hmm.
but I don't think it's a big deal right now. So
Exactly.
that's great. Yeah.
That's what I thought. It.
And and even if it was, you could just like have some sort of an Nginx cache, and that would probably solve
Yeah.
things. Yeah, you can just have an Nginx cache in front of your app, because most of this data that you're serving is mostly static, right? I mean, it
Right.
will change rarely,
Yeah, it will
like
change probably once a semester.
once a semester. Yeah, that's like once every 4 months or 6 months.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the idea is great,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the implementation that you guys have been going on doing is really good. I think it's probably the best in like any project that I've seen on KGP, because in KGP, because it's very chaotic there. But
Right.
yeah, I'm glad people are getting time to work on this. Yeah, I would like to see this like in some project, in
Mm-hmm.
like a solid project, like maybe I think the departments thing is useful for like MFQP, and even the subjects thing, courses thing
Right.
is useful for MFQP, and then the faculty thing, of course, for WIMP. And yeah, I think in the faculty thing you have the rooms and the slots, right?
Yeah, I do have that.
Yeah, so that should be enough to generate the data that Chillzone needs to.
Yeah, exact.
So
Chill zone. Okay,
yeah,
probably.
yeah, yeah.
So
So mm,
yeah, there are lots of. I think there's a lot of project that could be using Hercules.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. We should definitely focus on like yeah, maybe not focus on this, but
hmm,
try to like work out a better solution for projects that are stuck because they don't have data, maybe.
right.
Because yeah, I think that mm, yeah.
So
Uh,
a couple of
mm,
questions that I wanted to ask was that
mm-hmm,
how do I so if I can show you the issue, if you can check the issues about for
mm-hmm,
Hercules, so
mm-hmm,
Ayush opened a lot of issues regarding the data that he wanted for
mm-hmm,
Kronos.
mm-hmm,
So I was thinking about this, about how should I go implementing them. For example, there's a issue for giving data related to slots, as in,
okay.
so should I create new services or should I implement a GraphQL service for now? I mean,
Uh,
what should I?
so which issue is this? What number?
Issue number 41.
Add an access URL to serve request for data on slots. See, oh, okay. Oh, okay. You want the just the slot versus the okay. Mm-hmm.
Right. Basically, all the timings for given slot. That sounds
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
good.
I think this would be like I don't think that this needs to be a whole new service, because this
Exactly.
like slots information is like it's static for the most part,
Right.
and it's not like timetable which is going to change every semester. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think you should think about like data in that sort of sense. Like how often is it going to change?
Mm-hmm.
So for example, faculty data, like information about the faculty is never going to change. You're going to add
Right.
stuff to it or remove people, but something about a particular faculty is never going to change.
Right.
So yeah, so maybe like faculty information should be a service, and
Mm-hmm.
then just like faculties and the subjects they teach,
Mm-hmm.
mapping for that should come under the timetable service. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
essentially just try to isolate data into where it belongs. So anything like that is part of the timetable and will change whenever the timetable changes should be in the timetable service. And then, hmm, and then try to avoid, I think, having the same data in two places. I think eventually you'll have to have like links between your tables. I think right now you don't, right?
Links as in, what do you mean?
Like foreign key, or like just
Oh
have
yeah,
a faculty.
I do.
You do, right?
Right. All the tables are interconnected using foreign keys.
Oh
Great.
yeah, then it's fine. Yeah, then you're on the right track. Then it's fine. Yeah. Then the timetable service should return data like what faculty is teaching, how many courses this semester, for example.
Yeah,
or if you want to find out a faculty's timetable, which is the same problem basically. But
right.
yeah, and
Yeah,
then
so
yeah,
I've
and then
created
the course.
one for that as well. Like I
Yeah.
showed. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the endpoint you showed, right? Which had the
right,
rooms and the slots and stuff.
right.
Yeah,
Rooms.
so the timetable service should basically have that mapping, and then the courses service should just have a mapping between the courses and information about the course, which is like,
Course.
which is not timetable specific, you know, and
It's
the timetable changes, the courses summary will not change. Only the course's slot and timings and room will change.
right.
So the course to room timing mapping should be in the timetable service, whereas in the courses service should just have course information, and faculty
Right.
service should just have faculty information, so that you can like think about what is changing when. So when the timetable changes, only one service's like
Right.
master data will change instead of just having to like change things everywhere. You know, you would have to
Okay.
go into the courses thing and change it. Yeah.
That
So that is, I think, one approach. And
mhm.
the other approach is just to treat everything like as an asset, like something like a course that has properties which will change. And this will involve like more management. Whenever the timetable changes, you'll have to change the courses like timing in the course asset, if you call it that. And then you have to go to the faculty record and change the faculty's timetable.
Right.
And
Yeah, I
yeah,
get
so
the
this
idea.
will require,
Yeah.
yeah, you get the point, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That would
So
depend a lot of
slots is,
work, right?
mm, mm,
And it won't be truly service oriented because I think
yeah,
changing single data would affect a lot of services.
hmm,
There would be data
exactly. Yeah. Yeah,
propagation,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, and it will just change the data. For example, someone like fetching course data in 2 semesters would probably like expect a similar response. And then if you're just changing things here and there, then that's probably not that will cause some inconsistencies, I think.
Yeah,
But
probably it
yeah,
could.
yeah, you should think of it like that. The slots data that I use on Chillzone is just it's horrible. It's it's like some sort of a CSV, I think, but
Yeah, it's
yeah.
from Excel, right?
Yeah, it's from
I think
it's
I've
from
worked with
Excel.
you on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I got it from Excel and then did some awk stuff and got
Yeah,
this. It's really easy to parse this, but
okay.
it's not very good
Convenient to
data.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not intuitive at all. So yeah, you should think about how to store this.
Right.
Hmm.
Okay.
There's a
Another.
lot of just on the note of like data, there's a lot of data that does not really change a lot in KGB, like slots, and then you have like a mapping between the slots data and the exam timetable, which I thought was really useful if you could just get it before you chose your subjects. I never could like understand what the pattern was, but there's definitely a pattern. Like some slots always have their exams on the fourth day in the morning session or on the
Oh,
fifth
really?
day in the afternoon session, something like that. And yeah, so I've like noticed that, and I tried once to just like look at my admit cards and build that, but it's not very easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
Ah,
things change. But there's definitely a mapping, and if someone was able to like crack
decide for
that,
that. Yeah.
yeah, that would be great because you could just look at your exam timetable before you choose your courses,
Process.
and then you could remove like any course that you didn't particularly want to take and would really like make your exam timetable worse. Yeah.
Yeah, probably there is one
Mm,
because I talked
mm,
with my MTP guide about this, and she's
mm,
working on graph theory. So this
mm-hmm.
is related to graph coloring problem or something. So they
Ah, yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, so they use graph coloring to find the best suitable timetable.
Mm.
So they must be using the slots as the nodes and doing some stuff, probably.
My someone taught me graph theory from Max department. She was telling me the same thing about how they were trying to minimize the number of people who had like two exams in the same day
Right.
and then yeah, something like that. But I'm not sure. I think it was just like a fun project sort of thing. I don't think they're seriously like considering it, but yeah, if someone was able to just like crack this beforehand, that would be great.
Yeah.
because then people choose just a lot of breadths and they would know what to do. Yeah, yeah, that would be fun.
And
Hmm.
another thing
And
that I wanted to
hmm,
ask you is that so how do I store data across semesters? For example,
hmm,
this
hmm,
semester ends, right? And
hmm,
the
hmm, hmm,
current
hmm.
tables would become sort of obsolete for the next semester because the
Yep,
courses will change, the
yep.
timetable will change, the
Hmm,
faculty can be updated.
hmm.
So, and I need to store the data for grades as well in order
Yeah.
for Chronos.
Hmm,
So
hmm,
how can I store them so that
hmm.
it's accessible for the user to get any
Yeah.
specific data from a specific semester?
Hmm. Yeah, so that's it's good that you're thinking about it. So what I would do is I would have like the default endpoints would just return data for the current semester, and
Okay.
then if you want to get like for I would choose like a semester identifier of some sort, and
Okay.
then if you want to get historical data,
Right.
then you just give like the semester identifier, and
Hmm.
then you tell them what you want.
Okay.
There is some data that will just remain constant forever, like the
Right.
list of courses and the list of faculty. There's only timetable data that I think will change every semester. And
Hmm.
yeah, and I think there will be additions and removals from courses and faculties,
Right.
but definitely don't think of the courses as like something that's going to change every semester. Because yeah, I mean, you should have like the courses. Like table should have all the courses that are offered in both semesters all the time. Yeah,
Uh,
so that should not change. Yeah, if you have like courses table that has only courses offered this semester,
right.
that's yeah, that's not ideal because then yeah, it would be inconsistent, I think, because the courses and faculties should be just a complete two sets of tables that are always there, and they are independent of what time of the year you're in, what courses are offered, or that is something that the timetable should be concerned with. If you really want to find out just what courses are offered this semester, just go
Mhm.
to the timetable and make a query there. But
Yeah.
if you want to find out about a particular course, no matter whether it's offered in this semester, next semester, whatever, what was offered sometime in the past.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, and yeah, you should definitely have like you can just store these tables. It's I think that if
So,
once you
so
like
you're suggesting the storing all the data in a single table in a single database, right?
yeah, it should not be a problem. I mean,
Okay.
like relational databases like Postgres and MySQL will be completely fine with like I think hundreds of tables for sure. People use
Okay.
it for thousands or even more than that. So yeah, you should just like set up a system where you have like a, a script to start the tables, to like create the template for all the tables, create the tables in the database without
Okay.
any data, and
Okay.
then you should have a script
Right.
which moves these
Operates
tables to history.
history.
Yeah,
Okay.
you mean so like at the end of this semester you'll run like something, and
Okay.
these tables will go from say courses, just courses, to 2000 what's it now? Autumn. Yeah, 18 autumn or 18 autumn underscore courses. So all the
Right.
courses move into like a namespace, or you can even create a database if you want. If that's up to you, but
Mm. No,
how you
the
implement
reason
it, but
that
it
I'm
should just be structured so that you don't have to like change code after that. So you
asking.
write these two scripts, and
Hmm.
then you write in like endpoints for this,
Hmm.
where like say the endpoint is slash history slash semester identifier slash
Right.
timetable.
Right.
So when you get that endpoint, you just go to the appropriate table, database, whatever, get the data and return it. So once you move these like present tables to history, you
Mhm.
should the new endpoint should just work. You
Yeah.
won't have to do anything else. So this
Right.
is just database management sort of thing.
Mhm.
And
But
once you like,
so right.
mm,
The reason that I'm asking about this is
yeah,
basically because on Heroku,
mm-hmm,
for Postgres, I can store only 10,000 rows in the free tier,
mm-hmm,
and
mm,
currently we have reached 7,000.
mm.
So I don't think I would be able to store more the data for the next semester in the
Mm-hmm.
same database.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, historical data can also be stored as like JSON if you want.
Ah,
I mean, you can store it wherever you want. If you don't want to store it on like Heroku,
okay.
uh, yeah, I mean, you can store it somewhere. I
Mm-hmm.
think that you should be able to find some
So
solution
I
to that.
was thinking of creating
Hmm.
another Postgres database and connecting both of the databases to the same app, so that the history service can access the old database
Hmm.
and the other services can connect to the latest one.
Can you store 10,000 rows in every database?
Uh, okay, that's a good question. I think I'll have to
I
check
think
that.
it's 10,000 rows total. Or I don't think they even give you like more than one database,
Per app.
Heroku by default.
Oh,
But
so
anyway, I mean, you can also like deploy a Postgres container on the MetaKGP server if you want. I don't think that should be a big deal. And then
okay,
if you have like proper authentication, then you should be fine.
okay,
You can just use that in your app.
cool.
And as long as everything is secure, you can just deploy it on any server that we have. And we're anyway paying for this. So yeah, you can deploy a Postgres container. I don't see why we shouldn't do that actually. Yeah, we already have a MySQL server. We
Mhm.
just create a Postgres container and uh, we can expose it. Uh, yeah,
Cool.
I think it should be fine. I mean, yeah, you should definitely ask Vikrant, but I think it should be fine. I think you can use our server for the Postgres thing. But essentially, like my point is that where you store the information should not matter. You should just
Right.
have the code modular enough to like swap out whatever you want.
Yeah,
If you
exactly.
are like, yeah, if you're like storing a query, then it should be a query. If you are storing it in JSON, then it can be a JSON file. Wherever you store it. Yeah. I mean, I think storing it as a JSON will also eventually get you in trouble because
Yeah,
they have like all sorts of weird file restrictions and file size restrictions and stuff. But
and the issued
yeah,
JSON would be really big, and I have to
yeah,
load
yeah.
the program to pass just a single row, right? Single object. That does not make any sense.
Mm. Yeah, you'll probably get into more trouble if you do
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
exactly.
But I think you should be fine just deploying Postgres on a server somewhere
So, right.
and then using that. Yeah. Or maybe you can find like some MySQL server.
Mhm.
Yeah. But
Cool. We'll discuss this.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah, you should ask someone. I think you should ask Vikrant. You'd know. Uh, I Yeah, I mean, we haven't exposed any port on the main server
Hmm.
except like 80, which is only exposed to Cloudflare IP addresses currently.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know what the deal is with exposing other ports, but yeah, I think we just make ourselves vulnerable to attacks. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it should be fine. We are not too worse off. But you should ask about that. Yeah, but essentially that's my thing.
Right.
That you should have a way to like query historical
And
information,
data. Right.
and then you should have an easy way to yeah, three things basically. You should have a way to query historical information. You should
Hmm.
have scripts that make it easy to move present data to history and create new empty present data. And third is you should have an easy way to swap out the container that you're using for storing historical data. Whatever it is, you should be able to quickly swap it out.
Right.
Yeah, if you have these three components, then we can just keep discussing what the best way to go is because it would just be easier to iterate rather than decide right away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Sure. I'll take a look at these three and we'll discuss this with Vikrant.
Yeah, and GraphQL is great actually. But yeah, I think he was right because this sort of data that you we have in this KGP system is really weird, and people
Yeah.
might want to query it in different kinds of ways.
Right. And the data
So
is quite unstructured as well.
yeah, exactly. there is like you can, it's unstructured, so you can like create any sort of structure to it, and people
Exactly.
would want to query it in like whatever manner they want, even
Yeah.
if it's the same data. For example, with like Chillzone, it's basically the same data, which
Right.
is like which courses are held in what rooms,
Hmm.
and yeah, at what times. But
Interactivity. Right.
yeah, exactly, they're used for two different things.
Exactly.
So I think GraphQL is built for that sort of thing. I've
Hmm.
not like used it a lot, but I think it's
Yeah, it
useful.
is.
You
Yeah.
should look into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but great demo. I'm glad that you guys are working on it. I think
Yeah,
we should
actually,
keep,
a lot of people
yeah.
have contributed as of now. We've got
Yeah.
more than 10 people working on it. So
Yeah.
it's
That's
pretty
great
awesome.
actually. It's
Yeah.
great to see like momentum around this. But keep the momentum up and definitely try to get it out in like something that's already deployed to,
Right.
yeah, to show
For
that
starters,
works.
I've started with Vimp for now. Vimp and,
Mm.
like you suggested, Chill Zone. So I'd work on
Yeah.
those two, port it over December, and then we can launch it on next
Yeah.
semester.
Yeah, I think people would be excited to use this data
Yeah, probably.
because,
I should.
yeah, a lot of people want that sort of ERP data, but they just can't get it.
Yeah,
And yeah, grades data is always interesting. So yeah,
definitely.
yeah, I think Aditya checked out, right? Is he there?
Yeah, I guess he is.
I'm here.
We have been chatting for too long. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, probably. Okay, Aditya, go on.
Yeah, Aditya, go on, man. What's up?
Yeah. Uh, well, I've made this command line utility to handle to-dos. Let me show this. Okay,
Oh,
so
someone else did this too, right? Himanshu
uh,
had one, right?
this one was I worked on this when I was in 11th class, and this was in
Oh,
C++. So
oh,
it
that's
was
great.
an old thing, but the concept in
Hmm.
it was like I had some kind of a shell. So yeah, like I had commands, and then I had more prompts that entered data, and then it stored it in lists and other things. I created classes objects, but the thing was it was not useful. It was not easy to start, and it was not easily installable. It was just a out file like here dot out executable that you had to execute. It was not cross platform at all, and it saved the data in a binary file. So
Right.
I left this project a lot then, and after this midsim, I had this urge to note down everything that I wanted to do in a to-do list. I looked for apps that I could use. I had earlier used this TickTick app on Android, and I had installed it on Mozilla Firefox. As you can see, it's very slow to load on this Linux desktop.
Uh-huh.
So see, it's pretty like it. You have to use the GUI for everything. You don't have any
Hmm.
command line option, and TickTick does not have any API, official API that gives you support to create your own app. So I wanted to create something that could sync to anything that I wanted. Like it could sync to a server. So I created this Todex in Python. I revived it, and that was the backstory of how I wanted to do it. You can install it simply by using pip3 install Todex,
Hmm.
and its usage is pretty simple. Like here, if you just type Todex, let me just increase the font. So if you type Todex and you execute it, it will list all the to-dos. Since I have deleted the to-dos for this presentation, there are no to-dos. You can create a to-do by Todex, add and whatever text you want to add, like make a cake. And it will add that to-do. So if you want to view the to-do, it will show this. So it has this
Hmm.
nice Unicode checkbox that defines that there is a to-do and it's not done right, and there is the content. To mark a to-do, say to mark it done, you just use todex mark, and it will ask which to-do you want to mark, and you can just choose the status. So in the status, you can either choose X to have a cross or a V to represent tick. And here I will just choose V, and then if you take again todex, it does not show anything because it only shows the to-dos that you have
Hmm.
not done yet. So if you want to show all the to-dos, you can go to Todex view. And so you can see that it also has a nice Unicode check mark over here.
Mhm.
And it's not limited to just this. Initially, when I created the C++ version of this app in 11th, I thought that the idea of lists was very nice. So you can have different lists, and each list could have different to-dos. But when we create a lot of lists, sometimes we want a single to-do in multiple lists. So that could not be achieved in this. So I thought of having tags in to-dos. So you can have tags like Todex, add and make a school project. So I wanted to have some tags, say science and say math. So the tags begin with a plus sign and they're automatically interpreted as tags, and this whole text is interpreted as the content of the to-do. When I add this, it adds the to-do and with tags. So if I want to view a single to-dos of a single tag, I just do Todex and science plus science. And it shows me the to-dos of science over here.
Mhm.
I've used a fuzzy search algorithm to search. So if I remove a single letter, it also interprets it and shows me to-dos of other things. So you can have some typing mistakes and it will still show you this nice thing. And to say you want to delete a to-do, it's also very simple. Todex del, and you want to choose which should you want to delete. So suppose I want to delete the first one, make a cake. So I just choose it, and it confirms if you want to delete it, and it deletes it. So currently, like over here, my when I start the shell, I run a script that displays this subnox, simple code, a weather, and since I had no to dos, it did not display any to dos over here. Say I add a few to dos. Then if I open another shell, it will also show me my to-dos over here. So every time I open a terminal, I have all my to-dos over here, what I want to do, the current weather, and everything else. And also the part of extensibility of this program. This is my code base. I have not written any tests yet, and I plan to write them later. Uh, the data that is exported in this
Oh.
to-do app is in this JSON format. So so it's just a simple list of to-dos with a type to-do and then content, status, and tags. So this can be used to provide to other apps. So I can use a client in Android that can use this data.json to display those to-dos. So it can be made cross-platform. I want to write a server script a server sync that can sync this to a remote server, and just
Mhm.
sync it. Uh, and I also want to make it configurable. So here the status alias, like I used V and then it turned it into a check mark over here. So and X is turned into an X mark like this cross, and then a space is interpreted as an empty checkbox. So I want to create this settings.py as a JSON that can be used so that users can use it to extend this like they can configure this themselves. And
Mhm.
in the data.json file is not stored in the native folder. So if it is installed by pip, it is available in the local share folder. So the dot in the dot local share folder, I have the JSON files. So data.json file is present in this local folder, and and this is the JSON file for this to do that I have right here. So it can then be synced to another server, and I want to do like I have future plans for this. I have written a blog post that covers most of this, like how to use this app and what I have a future for this. So what I've planned for doing it in the future is that I want to add some tests. As I've said, I would want to make a server and sync the data.json file to it, add some colors to the program. So currently it looks a little bland, like there are no colors. Like I would like to have these checkboxes to have a different color, the tags to have a different color, and otherwise I want to have a time and due date sort of thing. So I could assign a time, a due date to a to do, and if the due date or a time is come, and then it should show me a notification that you have this to do, something like that. And I would, if I get some time a little more in December sometime, I would like to create a simple Android app that could use this data.json from the server. Currently, the Todex app works on Termux on Android. So Termux, I think it's an org. So Termux is an Android emulator. So the Todex app works on this natively. Like, so you can just pip install it in Termux and it will work. So that was my what I've created in this for this uh, demo day. The code is available at GitHub at TodXPy. That was what I've created.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, that's really nice. I think that this sort of to-do list problem is pretty interesting to everyone because a lot of people build these sort of things that they use, I think.
Yeah, and it's good learning exercise as well, right? Because
Yeah, of
new
course.
Yeah.
technology helps you learn. So I guess you must have learned a lot, right?
Yeah, I learned a lot. Like I learned about the argparse library from Python that could pass the arguments, but then I
Right.
grew hold of that because it was not much configurable. You had
Right.
to add a lot of like boundaries. So in argparse, I could not pass different keywords. Like if I want to pass like a to-do content, I would have to make that in a I would have to enclose them in quotations. And in
Mm-hmm.
this Todex app, I don't have to use quotations. So I just write this words separated by spaces and it interprets it as a content.
Mhm.
And I can have so it's easier to use basically.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
there are a couple of things that I'd like to ask you. How can I search for given tag? For example, I've got 10 to-dos, right, for a
Yeah.
particular tag, and I want to
Yeah.
list only the to-dos
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
particular tag. Can I do that?
Yeah, you can do that. Like, let me show you. So
Yeah.
currently, I have this school, this to do like make a school project with the science and math tag. So if
Right.
you want to search for the tags say science, so you just do Todex and the tag name.
Oh, that's
That's
cool.
it. That's it. So it's simple. It's intuitive. You don't have to use any other command or etc.
Yeah. And another thing, do you have any help command for this? So
I am
basically,
planning to, yeah, I am
yeah,
planning to set a help command like Todex dash dash help. The
right.
argparse library generates an help command automatically, but since I moved out from argparse, I have to write the help command a lot. I have to rewrite the help command, like the output of the help myself. I would do this in the next like version because I did not have enough time to do that.
Cool.
I have written the blog post, although that
I'll
explains
read.
all the working.
Do you know about Click
Click.
framework?
No, I have no don't know about that.
Search about it. So it's basically
Okay.
a Python framework for writing command line applications. So that it's pretty simple, pretty intuitive, similar to Flask, because it
Okay.
was written by the same person, Mitsuhiko. So he
Okay.
built Click so that it's easier for people to write command line applications. So check that out. It could be of really use for you here. It's simpler than ArcPass and it's a lot more intuitive because it uses lots of context manager.
Okay.
So just give it a try.
Okay.
Yeah. But apart from
Uh,
that, pretty cool. I'd
yeah.
definitely use this.
Any other questions?
Siddharth.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I think I would I would think about like using a server to sync all the data. Because I think the most like the weird part about like all the to-do lists, there are like millions of to-do list apps.
Yeah,
And the weird part is like some of them support some platforms and some don't. And it's really like fragmented like that. And it's the same with like notes apps also.
yeah,
So yeah, so that's why yeah, I don't quite use to do like lists anymore. I just write them down. But yeah, I mean for people who use it, I think that if you really use it, then you should definitely yeah, this sounds good what you've built. And the fuzzy search is a great idea because I think most people don't want to type the whole thing out. It doesn't make any sense. So that's a good thing that you did that. And yeah, you should definitely think about like having at least an Android. I mean, I would not say having an Android client. I think you should have a web client.
yeah. I'm
And
thinking of making it in
yeah,
React based. So if I use React Native, I could just
hmm,
use for Android and
yep,
iOS at the same time.
yep, yep,
So I would try to make
exactly.
that one.
Yeah, if you do it in React or one of those frameworks, you can just have like Android, iOS, web. And I
Yeah.
think web is like pretty common. I really
Hmm.
like just using the browser on my like phone, computer, whatever it is, just going to the browser and being able to see the list of things to do. Or
Yeah.
yeah, I think that just having a notes app that is not as bad as Evernote
Right.
to sync notes everywhere would be amazing. Notes or to-dos, whatever, yeah. But I don't know. Kshitish, do you know of anything that does that?
Anything like
Search?
just for keeping to-dos,
No, I think notes.
notes.
To-dos, I think I've like Wunderlist and
For
Trello are fine.
Yeah,
Right.
for notes, I have found a lot of apps that are basically on the middle of the ground. Like some do some things very well, some do some things very badly. So, like
Yeah.
on Android, I sometimes use IA Writer. It uses Markdown and it syncs to Google Drive, so
Mm-hmm.
it's easy for that. So I
Mm-hmm.
can also sync that back to my laptop and use a regular editor like Vim or VS Code to edit those Markdown files. But it is a little
Mm-hmm.
hassle. But like Linux does not have a native Google Drive sync
Yep. Mm-hmm.
facility. If it had that, then it would be the ideal thing, because iWriter has a good Markdown editor
Mm-hmm.
and it
Yeah,
has
I've
nice
seen
photo
Lots
support.
writing notes. He's got really good editor over there. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I searched for a lot of editors for the past 3 years, and then I settled on using combination of Google Keep and Moleskine. So I write everything down and carry it with me.
Yeah, I think that's what I have finally. I don't use any tech stuff anymore for that. It's
Yeah,
just it's really weird. And yeah, I think Apple actually does it really well. The Notes app on iPhone and the whole thing is really good. And
yeah, because
kind of
it syncs really well, right?
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
I'm really impressed with how well it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean this is great. This to-do list that you're building. Definitely have a look at what Himanshu built. He built something similar, I
Ping
think.
me. Yeah, build ping
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Mm, yeah, and it was also fun to watch. Was it the notification thing?
Yeah, it was notification thing.
Oh, he didn't build a to-do list, yeah?
I'm not so sure. I don't think
I
so.
think he built a to-do list as well. I
Okay.
remember a to-do list somewhere. But anyway, yeah, look at that. And think about how you would like do this, sync this across devices and
Devices.
have
Yeah.
a web client maybe. Yeah, that
Yeah,
would be great. Mm, yeah, great work, man.
yeah, thanks.
Cool.
Yep.
So what next? Should we
Yeah, you should spin the wheel, I think.
spin the wheel? Siddharth, can you do the honors?
Oh, sure. I will do that. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Google goes mad when you type spin the wheel. I spelled it right, right? Aditya? Hello?
Yeah, you spelled it right.
Oh, okay, fine. Were you muted?
Yeah, I muted it.
Okay, fine. Kshitij, Aditya. I think this should be fair. Okay, let's do that. Okay, Aditya won. Kshitij, you have lost this match.
Oh my God, what will I do now?
That's it for you now.
Congrats, Aditya.
Yeah,
Yeah,
congrats.
thanks.
You will get your prize money from someone. I'm
Yeah.
not sure who's going to do it this time, but yeah, I mean, if you don't, Kshitij, will you take care of that?
I'll
Just
post on demo day.
yeah, just post it there, and if you don't get it, then just ping me in like
Cool.
a week or something. If you don't get it, then you can just ping me and I'll take care of it. Okay?
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
So great. Aditya came and went, right?
Yeah, he
What
went
happened?
to the main building. I think he texted
No,
me.
no, no. I did not go to main building. I was waiting for a notification if it was there. I asked
Oh,
Ayush also.
Okay.
oh no,
No,
the
no.
other Aditya.
Oh, Aditya.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aditya Kumar. You are tuned in from main building. Great job. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what is he doing in the main building anyway. What time is it there? It's like 9:30.
No, yeah 9:15 right now.
Hmm. What is he doing?
Probably it's because we didn't decide on the venue and he thought that we might be meeting on the.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
bad. Okay, we should we should fix that. But
Yeah.
yeah, venue is fine. I mean, if like KGP internet is working properly, then I think people can just tune in from wherever they want.
Yeah.
Uh, if yeah, if they want to.
There's two issues with that. Basically, there's a limit to how many people can join the Hangouts, and
Oh,
we
really?
want, yeah, there's 8 or
What is?
10.
Okay. I didn't know that.
And the more important thing is that we want people to meet us in person, right? Through these.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what I meant was don't let it be like a blocker for like just
okay, right.
conducting demo day. If you can't get a room like when you, I mean, I know how weird KGP politics is.
Yeah,
So just did they change the room booking thing
yeah,
to like the software one? No?
yeah. They did it, and
Oh,
basically
really?
there was a notice about this, and
Uh-huh.
basically what the change was that there's pricing associated with booking rooms. So you will have to pay in order to book a room.
Pricing what? What did?
So basically, we need to pay in order to book a room from now on. And
Oh, really? Is it a
yeah,
flat rate or does it
yeah, it's
depend
a
on the
flat
space?
rate for
Uh,
8 hours or 4 hours, and then
okay.
they revoked it for students, and there has been no update about it.
Who else
So
is booking rooms except for
yeah,
students?
don't worry about it. We'll look into it. I've we've got Shivam and Ayush working on that.
Yeah, but yeah, it is strange. Why do they
Yeah,
want
it's
money
strange.
for
I
rooms
don't
that are
know.
all there? It's really strange. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So
let's
yeah,
end it.
great. Hmm.
Cool. All
Thanks
right,
for
guys.
joining. And
Yes, Siddharth.
yeah, that's
All
it
right,
from me. Have a
cool.
good one. Yeah.
Good day, guys. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye, man.
Bye.
Bye. Aditya.
Bye.